Can you see him? Look at him. Look how happy you are. Yay! Listen, me and Dave are already well acquainted now in your absence. We don't
Where
need
is he? I can't see him.
Can you not see him?
I
Oh,
didn't
he's on your phone, Dave. Slide across.
Right, I'm on. I'm with you.
He's had his haircut.
Well, I haven't. I just brushed it this morning. I don't know.
I see.
You look very fresh, Christopher.
Good lighted. Good light. We've got the sun coming down. Good lighted.
Doing you wonders. Dave and I were just getting acquainted. He was telling me he was the original member of UTS and that your reputation preceded you and you rescued him from his debilitating back pain.
He's too kind. He's done it himself. I just give him a little bit of a nudge.
And I've met little Ozzy, who's had a little cameo.
Yeah.
Cameo appearance.
I think from my perspective, having pretty much always spent time in the gym and having got a lot both physically and mentally from being in the gym, my biggest desire as I came out of my isolation period was, right, I'm better. I need to get back in the gym. I need to get fit. I need to go. You know, I want to get back where I was. And to be fair to Chris, the biggest thing he did was warn against that and to take my time and to work with him and to work slowly and build it up slowly. So as there was more chance of my making a full recovery. So what we've been doing very much is working with a heart rate monitor on and watching what I'm doing and watching how long it's taking me to recover. And effectively, he's been holding me back from just going hell for leather to try and get fit again, you know, because that's all I wanted to do. But thankfully now we've come through that and I'm doing stuff every day and I'm sending Chris the stats from my watch, showing him what I'm doing, showing him what my heart rate's doing and showing him how quickly my heart rate is able to recover.
Amazing. That golden
it has been amazing.
Straight out
it
the gate.
Been amazing. I know that had it not been for that influence, I just would have gone nuts at trying to get fit again. And I know from speaking to Chris and other people that would have really wouldn't have done me any good at all and would have knocked me back.
So how frequently would you have exercised? I know you worked with Chris for a couple of years, you said, Dave, but how frequently would you train pre-COVID?
Certainly 5 times a week.
Always with Chris or?
No, on a one-to-one with Chris every week for an hour. Where, as I say, an awful lot of the stuff I've done for Chris, with Chris, has been rehab work, really building my back up. I'm a very keen motorcyclist. And a couple of years ago, I did a 5,000-mile trip all the way to Croatia on the back of a bike and through the Alps and back through the Dolomites. And when I came back, I was broken. I really couldn't move. And I went to see a consultant and had an MRI scan because I literally couldn't get out of bed. It was awful. And I went to see the consultant and he did the MRI scan. And without, excuse my language, but he said to me, I've got some good news for you and some bad news for you. He said, the bad news is your back's fucked. And I said, oh, right. He said, what's the good news? He said, the good news is your back's fucked. He said, so you can't make it any worse. He said, so if you can work through the pain and build up the muscles around it, you're going to be great. And that gave me the confidence, and I think probably gave Chris the confidence to say that no matter what we did, I wasn't going to harm myself because it was as bad as it was going to be. So I've been working on a weekly basis with Chris on that, and certainly 4 or 5 days every week, working out myself in the underground training station, whether it was doing classes or calisthenics, which is obviously great for your core as well.
Dave,
so that's it, really.
You're West Kirby's top athlete for all this information I'm hearing.
I am, yes.
And I forgot that Chris says you're a blood biker. That's
Blood
very
biker.
cool. So is that like every day for you?
No. That's a voluntary thing. I try to get out every week for them.
How amazing, though, because I guess just hearing your story now, had you been still struggling with those back problems,
I couldn't have done
you be able to do the blood biking again.
Couldn't have done it.
What a power team you both are. So, Dave, when did you get COVID?
Just before Christmas.
Oh, so relatively recently, really.
Relatively recently, I'd gone for a flu jab, which is something I've never done before. But I was encouraged by various people to have a flu jab. I had the flu jab on the Thursday, and on the Saturday morning, I woke up and I felt awful, to be honest. Aches, pains, headache, everything was sore. I felt like I had flu. So I thought, well, it's just side effects of the flu jab, you know? So I popped a couple of paracetamol, drank loads of water, and carried on with my day. The Sunday morning, I felt really lousy. So I went and had a test. I went and had a flow test. And the result came back on the Monday that it was positive. So that was probably the 22nd of December, something like that.
Mm-hmm. So and how bad did the symptoms get? Did they stay that kind of level, or did they worsen?
It was pretty rough, to be honest with you, Mel. My main problem was headaches, blinding headaches, which would go on all day and all night. And although I was taking paracetamol and water, it really wasn't having that much effect. It felt like my head was in a vice, and I was just completely lethargic. If I did anything, I was exhausted. If I just walked through to the kitchen, I was sort of standing thinking, oh my Lord. And for somebody who had been as fit as I had been, it was really, really, really difficult to cope with. So it was exhaustion. I was really tired all the time. I was physically very tired. And as I say, if I did anything, let alone exercise, if I just walked around, I was exhausted.
Wow. And how long did you suffer with that for, do you reckon?
Well, I went through the isolation period, which I think was 10 days. And as soon as I could get out, I wanted to get out. So I was getting up and going for a walk around the Marine Lake in West Kirby. And so I started trying to exercise immediately, but I could only just cope with walking. So I was probably 2 weeks without doing anything. And then I started to walk. I'm lucky that I count Chris as a friend. So he knew that I had the COVID, and, you know, he was warning me against doing too much. And probably 3 or 4 days, 5 days maybe after I came out of isolation, I went on a walk, which was a little more hilly, not dramatically so, yeah, but that there were hills involved. And I could tell that something wasn't right. And when I looked at my heart rate monitor, it was 158, which is really sort of extreme. And I literally was just walking up the hill, you know, I mean, I wasn't doing anything crazy. So it was then really, and obviously I relayed that to Chris, and he was very much advising against doing anything like that. And so it was probably a full 2 weeks before I started feeling better from the headaches.
Like really sat down and kind of realigned expectations and put a proper plan together as how we were going to do this. So yeah, it was early Jan really, and then it was just a case of, like I say, sort of just telling Dave, hold back, mate, we're not going anywhere just yet. Let's just cool your jets a little bit. And but equally, really difficult, but equally sort of, it was important for, I think, for you to understand that this was going to be a slow slow sort of 6-7 weeks, and then we can start to ramp things up a little bit. And time passes quickly, and it does pass quickly. And you know, you get your little walks out throughout the day, reporting it back to me. We had the constant flow thing going on. Week was in the bag. Okay, we could increase the heartbeats by a little bit. We can do time on task a little bit more, and we could start to see the progression. You felt the progression, and then through a little bit of strength work in there with the mobility stuff that everyone needs anyway. So the things for you to be getting on with back at home without having to rack up 10, 12, 15 miles or whatever it is you might want to do. And then from there, yeah, we just got pushed on. I think you stuck to it pretty much to a T, because we didn't have to regress any weeks. There was nothing we had to step back on at all. I don't, off the top of my head, we didn't even break even in a week. We were just constantly layering it, until we're at the point where you're at now, pretty much.
That's amazing.
So I managed to borrow a Concept 2 rower from the gym, and that really helped, because I was able to do stuff in the house and monitor what my heart rate was doing. Again, using Chris's advices as to not pushing it too much, doing short intervals, looking what my heart rate was doing when I'd done an interval, not going by any means crazy, but rowing and then looking what my heart rate was and seeing how quickly it came down. And with my back, I've never been a runner, obviously with the jolting, but I even started to run again with Chris's guidance and with feeding back the information I was getting as to my heart rate through to him. So, but yeah, it was a slow job, and I'd have done too much, and I wouldn't be where I am now, Mel.
Chris, before you jumped on, Dave was singing your praises, as we all do, and was just saying how good you'd been around being his limiting pace and that kind of warning and sort of checkpoint throughout the process, so that he didn't go too fast too soon and overdo it. And then Dave, you just said there that you had found holding yourself back quite hard. Is that accurate? Did that take a bit of getting used to, kind of from your point of view, Dave, and kind of understanding it, or did you get it from the get-go and you didn't want to risk a worse situation?
Okay, being totally honest, I found it really, really difficult, even to the stage when if I was having a blip in my heart rate, I was saying, no, I won't tell Chris because he'll stop me. But then I thought, well, that's stupid. I'm asking for advice. If you don't ask for advice, you've got to take it. But for my mental well-being, I wanted to get in a stage where I could exercise again without getting too dramatic. It is my happy place. Seriously, it is my happy place. I enjoy being in the gym. I enjoy the camaraderie of the gym. I enjoy the physical exercise, and it makes me feel better, Mel. But if you think where he got me from with my back, when I was thinking, oh my God, and to where I am now, and really not doing anything, but then it's only natural that I would listen and respect what's said.
Yes, that's true. If there were people watching this, Dave, that are still struggling to take the slow road and might be sneaking in the odd bit of shady workouts and activity or whatever else, what would your advice be to them?
My advice would strongly be not to do that. You've got to listen to your body. You've got to look what your body's doing. You've got to give your body time to recover. This virus really does affect you. Even now, by 10 o'clock at night, I'm ready for sleep, and I'm sleeping 8-10 hours a night. And I know it's down to the after effects of the virus. Certainly physically, I'm an awful lot better, hugely so. I mean, I can now sit on the rower for 30 minutes and I can do a 30-minute row, and I can look at what my heart rate does, and I can see it coming down rapidly, and I know I'm on the road to recovery. But this virus, it's a tough thing. It affects your body. You got to listen to your body. I mean, even if you're not in the fortunate position to be able to not be able to access a coach, you need to look at your heart rate. You need to look at how quickly you can recover. I think because if you don't do that, you're going to set yourself back in attaining your previous level of fitness hugely. If it was me, I'd be back in the gym tomorrow. But out of respect for Chris, I won't do that. But he's pushing me more, and the communications correspondence we have between us. I'm sending him stuff, and he's saying, "Right, next week we're going to do this." And I know he's pushing me more, and I know he's confident to push me more. But I'd say you need to ask Chris.
We'll definitely start to. We'll hope. Well, the gyms will be opening soon, all being well, and so it'll be a really nice time, nice phase for us to start pushing a little bit more strength work in there for you, while still building on sort of that aerobic base that we've got a solid foundation of at the minute. So yeah, it's good. It will be time to push on. It will be more time on task. Like I say, there's no requirement for us to be up doing your 100% intervals at the moment, but we can certainly sort of push it up towards the 70 mark, the 75%, 80% mark, and see how you respond off the back of it. So it's going to continue to be building that aerobic base, make sure we're nice and solid in that, push the strength stuff on there to sort of support you as ever with mobility, which is a key for everybody. And actually, by the time the gym's open, you're ready to get back in anyway, mate. We'll just be, like I said to you briefly, we jump back in the calisthenics or whatever it is. It'll just be in bands. Wherever you wear is irrelevant. What matters is where you are and where we're going. And so we'll build it up at a nice low level. We'll start it in the bands, just hit it at 50, 60% on the lifts. Let's remind ourselves of the movement patterns, and then we'll start layering on the strength on top of that.
I think the hard thing for me to do through this has been to hold myself back. And I knew that was going to be the case. To take your advice.
I knew that was going to be the case. So
yeah,
play it like a game of chess.
Yeah, okay.
The reason I'm smiling like a Cheshire cat throughout the whole time we're talking, Dave, is because I just feel like the relationship between you two is awesome. But even though you've had a rough time of it with the virus, Dave, if we think, I guess you're going into this continued phase now. So as Chris says, by the end of March, you'll have come through, if things continue to go to plan, you'll have come through this main part of your COVID era, and then it will just be more about addressing your kind of decondition phase.
Yeah.
So that means that within about 12 weeks, you can kind of put the worst of it behind you, which is massive, because so many people that didn't do what you've done and take the slow road and pace themselves out, their situations continue to escalate and develop into this long COVID situation, which for some people now has been going on for almost 12 months. Whereas how phenomenal that instead of a 12-month absence from the gym, which would have driven you nuts, and it's been a bit of a hiatus for 12 weeks, and then it will be kind of pushing on, which is, that's like, for us to hear that kind of stuff, that's golden.
Brilliant.
Golden. And credit to you both, and good work, Coach Tomo.
I think well done, Dave. You're the one who's doing it. I think, and that's the thing for me, is it's as a coach, it's all going well with that hour that you're with the individual and you're educating them. And I think it's probably more the educational side of things than almost the application of it.
It is, Chris.
Because if we just do the hour and you just do what I tell you to do, and then off you go for a week, well, it's just not going to work, is it? If you understand, like you said, if you get into tune with your body, and maybe up until now, for a lot of people that did not really understood what the heart rate is, should be, needs to be, why it needs to be there. And I think once you start, like, you're on your watch, you're doing your exercise, you're on your watch, you're checking it, you feel it, you feel how that heart rate affects to your body and as you're moving, and then off the back of the recovery, you start to really get properly in tune with yourself. And I think once you start learning that, you see the progression, and then all you've got to do is just apply what I tell you. Then it's just heart rate, time, distance, whatever it is, and you're off. But I think the educational side of things really, really, really important, because once you get that in your head, you've got somewhere to move forward from.
Do you think you learned a lot day? Because you're clearly knowledgeable anyway about your training and where you're headed and super confident in the gym and all that stuff. But did you think that you learn more about yourself, your body, your training through this? Is there some positives like that that you can take out of what's happened?
I don't think there's any doubt about that, because I've never, I mean, this time last year, I was supposed to be doing Everest. Yeah, and I'd been working with Chris, trying to get prepared for that. So that had started me looking at my heart rate and recovery, because obviously I'd be walking at huge altitudes. So I'd started considering how my body was reacting under strain and trying to work out for longer periods at a lower heart rate. I'd spoken to Dr. Carl, and he was going about the Nordic ski and the ski cross guys, the cross country skiers is what I'm trying to think of. And he was saying how they train, and if they run, they'll come to a hill and they'll walk up the hill, so they keep the heart rate lower so they can work out for longer. So I'd started to understand more about the effect of my training on my body at my age in preparation for Everest. And so it's followed on from that. But as I say, that was training I was doing with Chris anyway, with some guidance from Dr. Carl.
Amazing. So when's Everest rescheduled for?
Oh, I don't know. Christ, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
But it's still on the cards, I assume.
Who knows, Mel? We'll see.
We'll get up Caldy Hill in a few weeks, mate. We'll take it from there.
Steady, Chris.
I've been up that hill. It's a fair hill.
It's a cheeky hill to be fair.
Steady, Chris. Let's not go too far.
Is there anything else that you two would like to add to each other, to the story, or as messages for other people?
No. Listen to your body. If you're lucky enough to have a coach, listen to your coach. If you are going to listen to a coach, make sure he knows what he's talking about, and make sure he's got the depth of knowledge that you need, because it's not just a matter of jumping back in the gym to get your fitness back, because you won't do it. For me, no, it's just exactly what we've already reiterated. Just, keep doing what you're doing, Dave, because obviously the process works. We're taught a particular structure, method. It's there for a reason. It's not just winged. There's science behind why we do what we do, and it will work. The only reason it wouldn't work is if you break the kink in the chain. If you break it down by just throwing that cheeky one in, and then you don't tell the coach or whatever, and you push on a little bit more, that's when you start chasing your tail. There should be no reason at any point that we're going around in circles. We always want to be, and it only needs to be a tiny. I say this an awful lot with a lot of people at work. At the start of every month, I'll say to everybody, where are you at in the first? Where do you want to be by the 31st at the end of the month? And let's have a look. It doesn't matter if that progression is 0.5%. If we've got 0.5% progression, depending on the training age of the individual, that's progress. And that over a period of time is bigger progress, is massive progress, because that's what it's about. It's not about trying to just get right from here. I want to get back into doing that right now. It's not going to work that way. Be patient with it, be consistent with it, and you'll get it back. And there's no reason why, as I said to you, Dave, I don't see you getting back to your level of fitness that you were before COVID. I want to get us flying past that, and I don't see a reason why that won't happen, so long as people do as they're told. It's human nature to try and throw the odd sneaky session in, to try and push it along, just to try and push the recovery process further.
Yeah, but in turn,
you've just got to listen.
Yeah, because in turn that just compromises it. So
totally, which is why I'm not doing it.
No, and I get that, and I think it's almost that kind of, we all know what it's like to be in that red zone, thragging yourself and getting the endorphins that you get off the back of the session like that. And I appreciate that, and I understand that. And we're going to go there. We're going to go there, believe me. Yeah. But there's a time for it to get there.
Guys, thank you. You're like a dream team. I can't stop smiling at you. Thank you, Dave. I'm so chuffed that you're on your way out of the situation. And I'm so proud. I know I don't know you, but I'm so proud of the fact that you've resisted the temptation, because it sounds like you're killing it.
Well, we'll see. Let's hope so, Mel.
Hopefully when I'm next in UTS, I'll see you and then we can have a bro off.
That'd be nice.
Right, so I'll let you both get on with your days unless you want to add anything else in.
No, lovely. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Dave. Honestly, well done, both of you. Like, I love it. It's awesome. And your relationship is lovely to see. So thank you.
Thanks, Mel. See you soon, Chris.
Thanks, Mel. See you soon, Dave. Take care, mate.
Bye.
Cheers.